Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Mac.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we are doing our 40 through 50 of our top...
41 through 50.
41 through 50 of our top 50 games. So we're going to do it in...
All time.
Of all time. So we're going to do it in 10 game increments, and this is the first video of that.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, as we did this last year, I think there's going to be some change. There's a lot of
Go check out those
games.
videos to
Yes.
see what changes.
Yes, for sure. At least, well, you can go see the top 10 and see if you're, like any of the games we do. See if it's worth it to be watching a whole 5-video series. But yeah, I think there's going to be some change. I know for me at least. I think it's about a 20 game change from last year. And then there's been some movement in the top 10 even. And I think for you, you've played a decent amount more
I have.
new games to you.
I have. I've already gotten like half of more than half of how many I
you had
played last year. Thank you. I could not figure out how to say that.
Yeah, because this year we're doing alphabet soup, trying to play through our whole collection A to Z. We're not quite halfway through yet.
Better.
Yeah, we're not quite halfway through yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there. So there might be even when we do it next year. If we do it next year, there are probably even more that you might like. Hopefully, our hope, because we've got at least over half the games to play yet. So, and there's some new ones for you.
Yeah.
But how about you, Pepper? Gonna be some change?
There's some big change here, some substantial drops as well, similar to, well, I guess last year was the first year, but to us there were some drops with behind Mac's head here, Dinosaur Island infamously was my 47, 48, whatever it was, and that used to be my number one game, and I'd say there are drops about that big as well this year.
Oh boy, well, I can't wait to hear them. But there's also going to be a giveaway, and it may be a 3-way crossover, I don't know. I think it might have been on your guys' list last year, but it's in this 10 games that I'm doing this time. So once we get there, we can talk about the giveaway then. So stay tuned. But I will start us off with my number 50 with Carcassonne.
Oh.
So this one was number 36 for me
Poor
last year.
Betty almost didn't make it.
He almost didn't make it. He almost didn't make it. And it's kind of surprising because kind of late last year you ended up getting... We had a couple of the expansions. Yep. You ended up getting pretty much all the rest of the expansions. We played some more Carcassonne with those expansions and I had a really good time with it. So it's a little bit surprising that it dropped, but at the same time, like I said, there's a lot of games coming onto the list. So it did still hang on there. So I think it probably overall it really didn't move too much. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a really great tile laying game. It's one of the first games when I got into the hobby, and it just I don't know. It's great even though it's so simple, and it can be cutthroat depending on who you play it with. But we will see. I don't know if you have any more to say about it, but
not on this video.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So. Michaela doesn't have anything to say about it. She can go to her number 50.
All right. Well, my number...
Crossover already?
My number 50 is... And I was
going to be Carcassonne.
My number 50 is Pendulum by Stonemaier Games.
Ooh.
So this is actually 29 for me last year, but like you have, I've got some games coming on the list. Some that came off, kind of pushed it around a little bit. And we just haven't played it very much in recent times, so I kind of feel like, still a good game, but there's maybe a reason it's not getting to the table, and so that's why I kind of adjusted it based on some of the other games I've got in there. So it's a race game. I almost never win it, but I find it fun to do the real-time pieces and, make your brain work really fast, because it's just so different than all the other games where we sit at the table and ponder moves for like hours. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one I don't know if I've won that one.
It's hard to beat him.
Because, he'll play on the advanced.
I don't know how. Exactly.
And still beat us.
I don't know how he can do it, because, he has to take time to make decisions on every other game, and in that one he's like, boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo.
That's actually the noise he makes.
That's what
it's his brain computing.
Yeah,
he takes off that analysis paralysis shirt.
Yeah, usually I don't know what it is about this game, but yeah, I can just usually make quick decisions in it. But I think it helps that sometimes your workers are locked in certain places.
Yeah.
So then you don't really have to worry about them until they become unlocked. So that might be part of it, where I'm only worried about maybe 1 or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit easier. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is a fine game.
Yeah.
It did not make my top 50.
And I don't think it's gonna make Jesse's either. But hey,
It is not,
Jamie,
sadly.
if you watching this, I got you.
She's trying to get the merch. She's the only one without a board game themed shirt. She wants Jamie to send her a free shirt. Pendulum.
I don't think there's merch for that.
There might be.
Well, now that there's a market, and he knows. My number 50 is one of those drops that I was talking about. This was my number 7 last
Oh
year.
my gosh.
That dropped 43 spots.
Have we
Boss
ordered?
Boss?
Have we ordered 43 new games?
He's probably
Probably.
played. How many did you play last year? New ones?
Over 100.
30-ish.
Top 10 to bottom.
And that's simply just because I haven't played it, really, since last year. I mean, I primarily played this on BGA, and that was Seven Wonders Duel. So I put it at number 7 to be cute last year, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I still really love it. It's very clever, 2-player drafting, and not a fan of the original Seven Wonders, but Seven Wonders Duel just is so different and so unique to any other drafting game, I think. I love it still.
Yeah, I really like how the drafting works in that one, where you can see some information and not see other information. And then just sometimes you're put in the position where you might want one card, but then you're revealing some cards for someone else. It works so well. And I haven't
And I
played
think that style of game is appropriate at a 2-player level. Like, I can't imagine
yeah.
having to play that game with more than one other person to have to think their moves out. But
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think it definitely works best for what it is, the 2-player version. I think.
So, really good.
Agree.
It's got that tug of war for the battle. I really love the alternate win conditions, which I pursue every single time. I'm not going to try to win with just points in this.
Yeah, I think the last few. I don't even know. I think the last few times I've played this, it ended on one of those other win conditions of science
he
or
lost
military.
because I would win science.
Yeah, I don't think I've even won recently, but yeah, it's a good choice. That didn't make my list because, like you said, I don't play it that often. But yeah, it's a really good game. Yeah, well, that gets us to 49,
Let's go, boys.
and that for me is a game that I'm currently playing through with one of these people,
So
not
just
multiple. Just Pepper.
Me. Oh.
And we're working through it still. We've been on it for 8-9 months now. Slowly getting through.
Yes.
But that is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. So this is a legacy game, so it's only going to be a one-shot experience. So I don't know that this one will be on my list in future years, but I've just been having a really good time with it and the story that it presents. I think it's a really great experience, just kind of like, I'd say like a Clank Legacy. Really, really enjoyed that one. I don't believe that one's on my list either anymore, but both of them have been, had their own unique things to them, and I really, really like what they do with that legacy aspect and changing kind of a game that's pretty easy to grasp, and then adding some little different things in there that make it unique from play to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
I got nothing on that because I don't play cooperative games.
Oh, she's going to be playing them because today in the mail we just got Viticulture World, so she's going to try that out.
All right. Okay, so my 49 is a new game to the list, and that is Rajas of the Ganges.
That wasn't on your list last year?
No.
You played it after?
Yep.
Ah.
Yep. It was in my top 10, I think, for new to me, but I don't think we had played it until after the top
I thought you were going to say it was in your top 10 until we played it the other day.
No, so we've had this game for years, but for some reason we never got around to learning it. And so finally Zach taught it to me, and I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then we played it again recently, and I was like, it's still pretty cool. A little bit less satisfying than I remember, but it's still a really good game. So
you did have extremely lucky rolls.
yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, I just kept rolling 5s and 6s and 5s and 6s and was able to just keep buying the tiles.
Yeah. In this game, lower rolls can still be used,
Yeah.
but if you're consistently
twos.
rolling high, yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I just could never get it. But I mean, I've only played it twice, and for it to still be this on my top 50,
Yeah.
because I feel like, from last year, I've learned, 47 or 67 new games since then. So, got a wider spread now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I would say, I don't know if it would have possibly been higher or not because we've only played it those couple times. I would say that was kind of an anomaly of a game.
Yeah.
I think it's usually, from the other games I've played of it, it's usually closer than that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just seemed like I've never
rough.
seen it be like that. It was kind of like when we played Camel Up the first time,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was not an amazingly great experience because the one just kept moving, and it was over in like 1 or 2 rounds or something.
it was crazy.
But yeah,
So, yeah, Franchise of the Ganges.
good
pick.
choice.
Good pick. My number 49. This is kind of the opposite of the previous game. This one is very consistent, moving only one spot from 50 to 49, and that is Exit the Game, or the series of games. So these are escape rooms in a box, which there's a ton of different brands of these, but Exit is
But this
the,
is a Marcus and Inca brand.
yes. Crossover, designer crossover with Rajas.
Oh, okay.
Which does not feel like it at all.
Right.
Nothing like Rajas of the Ganges. It pretty much, if you've ever been in an escape room, this is what that is if it were a board game.
Yeah.
And just look forward to every new one. We have quite a few stored up still to get played, and just looking forward to seeing what unique puzzles are in each.
I really like those games.
Yeah, those are fun. But I do feel like they feel a little samey after,
Yeah.
or like there's not samey, but there's only so much they can do
Yeah.
because they don't give themselves much box to work with.
Yeah.
But they
so you
use
can't really
all
expect
of the box.
it. They do use all of the box. Spoilers.
Spoiler.
No. But yeah, it's a good choice. Definitely, though, that's a fun thing to do for sure, especially when
good experience.
yeah, a
I
lot,
think
lot
it's-
cheaper than an actual escape
Yes.
room.
I think that's the sell point.
On
Do you
to-
have something to say? Nope. Okay. So yeah,
Pick.
I don't. No, I think I said it. Pandemic Legacy Season 1 was new to the list.
Yeah.
It was not on the list before. And just like this next game, Coffee Roaster.
Ooh!
I don't know if
This may not appear on my list, and I don't want to spoil anything, but
and
fist bumps
Michaela
let me
has
know.
not played this game, so it will not be on her list. Unless she secretly played it.
I did
And it's
not.
keeping it a huge secret, and it's her number 5 game. No. But Coffee Roaster is it's a game I wouldn't think that I would be that into because it's a solo game. But it's also, I don't know if it's considered bag building, but it's like a bag drawing, pool drawing game. You're drawing out of it. You know
Bag.
what's in there.
big manipulation, I guess.
Yeah. But there's just something really fun about trying to brew the perfect cup of coffee or whatever you're making, cappuccino, whatever it is. I don't even like coffee or anything, so it's kind of weird that it's a theme that the theme to me seems cool, but like the actual I have no interest in the actual coffee itself. So yeah, it's a really, really solid game. It's quick, which helps
yes.
it too. You're just round after round is really snappy. The only negative to it really is I wish it just had like one more
yeah.
set of the stuff and you could
For
play
like
it two-player or
two-player,
something.
yeah.
That would be nice versus having to, if you wanted to either take turns or else buy another copy of the game, because I don't think it's like overly cheap.
No, I think
For
that's kind
what it
of one thing that kept us from getting it for a while. It was still, like, last I checked, $30-something for a solo game, and it's not like a big, grandiose game. It's pretty small, pretty compact, so it took a while to actually get over that price point and make the purchase, but I
it's worth
too have liked it quite
Yes,
a bit.
it is a solid game.
Interesting. All right, well, I got nothing to say to that, but
You're gonna try it sometime, aren't you?
I'm going to have to, I'm sure.
I bet if it was a tea making game,
I'd
you
be all
couldn't-
over it.
You would have played it by now.
Yeah.
I know you would have.
I would have.
Tea
too.
roaster,
Oh, my gosh.
teetotaler,
No.
not drinking.
Sadness. Sadness. All right, so my number 48 is actually the same as my 48 from last year, I just
I
noticed.
thought you were gonna say as your 49. Raj does again.
Again! Two spots. No. So this is actually another dice game, and it's Sagrada. So this isn't actually in our collection. It's in my brother and sister-in-law's, but it's one that we frequently play at family gatherings, and I just really enjoy. You pass the dice around, you draft them, you roll them, you put them in certain locations. That to me is just fun. The puzzle, the maze of it all, and praying to God you get the dice you want is excellent. So, I don't know. I know you guys probably don't really like it that much, but I like it, so.
No,
Number 48.
There's something about that puzzle. It's not in my top 50, but there is something about that puzzle that I really like, and it's very solid, a very solid drafting game. It's very simple as to you pick a die and go around where you place. Okay, the placement rules, I guess, for some people could be a little more difficult, or like if you aren't maybe didn't hear the rules about it or something, it could be very easy to.
And it can be easy too when you're looking at placing to ignore, because there are color rules and number rules, and you know, so if you're focused in, it might be. And I know I've done it too. You know, forgetting.
Yeah, I play it mostly on the app, and I prefer it that way. That way you don't make those mistakes. It won't let you place in a spot that you can't. And I think the artwork and animations and that is pretty cool, and it glows even more than the dice do in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a solid game. It's in the Not Your Average Board Game Tournament.
Yeah.
Dice,
Nacho
baby.
endorsed.
It's a solid choice.
Nice.
My 48 is another decent drop of 21 spaces. This is The Mind.
Oh.
Which, again, we have not played in quite a while.
Yeah.
This also includes The Mind Extreme. It's either one. It's pretty much the same experience, just a little more extreme. But yeah, you just got a hand of cards. You're working cooperatively to lay down the cards from 1 to 100 in order without communicating. It's pretty much the game, and I don't know, just another very unique game and experience.
Yeah, another quick one as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like the three of us do well at that game together, so that one's always fun to pull out every now and again.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a filler game, more than the main event of the night. But yeah, it's something you can take out quick if you don't have a bunch of time. And I think it's one that most people could play, but there could be some. I think some groups it doesn't work as well as others. Like I think if you get a bigger group, you could have the problem where maybe one person is kind of off from everyone else.
I guess we haven't played it in like super huge groups, but I have. I feel like when we play it though, I always kind of notice that maybe we are more in harmony after we play it, like just kind of vibing more. But
so we should play it more, is what you're saying.
Could be if we're having a disagreement.
Especially the extreme version.
Yeah, that seems
extreme harmony.
Kumbaya.
Who needs a family therapist when you have The Mind?
Extreme.
Oh, brother.
That is a good choice, Pepper.
Good job.
47.
We're on
a game I've played. I know.
Here's another new one to my list.
Wow. See, 100%.
This one I think I did play before we did the list last year, I think. I can't remember exactly. But this one is one where you're placing out tiles, I think, or cardboard thing. You're building your city up, and it is Suburbia.
Ooh, nice.
This one is one too that I have not played that much, but I really enjoy trying to place the tiles in good areas where you're growing. I think population and money, and get some points or whatever it is. It's just very unique. Where sometimes if you grow too fast and stuff, then like the way the scoring track works is it knocks you down on the things.
Lose that small town charm.
Yes, so I really find that very interesting. And once you start getting up there, it starts just dropping you dramatically. Yes. But yeah, just the different tiles you can get. I think sometimes you get into predicaments where someone just ends up getting kind of the better chances at the better tiles, but that happens in a lot of games. But this is just, it's pretty simple most of the time as to, you can look at the tiles. I'd compare it maybe to like between two castles of Mad King Ludwig, where they kind of have things on them that show like, oh, it needs to be, or wants to be next to this, so that you get more of one thing or another, but if it's next to this, then you lose it. I just find that very interesting as to how it works.
Good pick.
I've got nothing to say about that because I haven't played it, and I don't know if I want to, but I'm sure
you might like it.
I'm sure I'll have to.
You might like it.
Yeah, probably.
I could see it being either way. I could see it going either way with that one.
Well, we'll see. It's not in my top 50, so
It's 51.
my
We're not to that part of the alphabet yet.
no, my 47 I think is what we're on. This one dropped 10 spots from last year. So it
boy.
was 37 last year, it's 47 this year. But I should get at least some type of praise for putting this on my list because I'm thinking that both of you think I despise, dislike, and do not want to play this game. But
So you're just putting it on there just to please us.
no, because I do like the card drafting in this game, and I think the expansion made it a little bit more fun. I just struggle with the scoring sometimes, and that's what makes it difficult. But the new scoring piece with the expansion, I think, really helped it out, and that is Bunny Kingdom.
I didn't even know this was on your list last year. I thought you just hated Bunny Kingdom.
No, I like Bunny Kingdom. It's just it was like there's a
Wow,
streak
37 last year.
where we played it. It was on the 10 by 10, but like it was just like played constantly, and I just was like, ugh. But I mean, I still like it. It's just, or I mean, of course I like it. It's number 47, but I just was, yeah. So it just takes a little while for the scoring for that one, for me anyway. So it was a little frustrating. But.
I agree. The fantastic is expansion. But yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm guessing you'll be hearing more of it,
Uh-huh.
at least by one of us.
So
Yeah, I think the expansion of that
oh, I think that one
definitely
was
added
needed.
some juice to the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then I felt like anytime you see the new cards, it's like, I want that. Even if it may not be the best card to take for you.
Well, and I don't typically like expansion, so for me to say, you know, this expansion I feel like was important, relevant, and useful for this game, 2 thumbs up.
Gonna have to film a top
Nice.
10 expansions video.
They did a good job. They did a good job on that one.
My number 47.
And it has pink bunnies and purple bunnies now, so,
Those
you
are
know,
the 2 best colors.
how do you not love it? Sorry, continue.
I always get stuck with the black bunnies.
That's because I
They're
need...
boring colors.
That's because he takes the pink and I take the purple.
It's true.
You can't have them. They're mine.
Now, time for the first cheat of this list.
Oh,
this will be
brother.
2 games.
Whatever.
Oh, brother, how about Oh, Bruno Catala? These are 2 Bruno Catala games with Vincent Drake artwork, and that is Raptor and Nagaraja.
Oh boy.
I've only had one session. We played Raptor back to back, but pretty much one session of each of these games. So I didn't feel like I could put it. Although there's probably games way higher that I have only played once, but I didn't feel like I could put it too high. But I did really enjoy both of those plays, and I think they're pretty similar in their card play, where there's multiple use. You can play a card for kind of the top, either the value of the card, or in Nagaraja, it'll give you different dice to roll, or else they have a special action on the bottom. And I just really love both ways that they handle that card play. And one of them, in Raptor, surprise, you are Raptors versus pretty much InGen or whatever, Jurassic Park. It just doesn't quite have the theme, the license to the theme, but
Right.
it's pretty much that scene where I always forget his name. That kind of
Is it Mundoon or something?
Mondoon, I forget his name. It's something like that, where he's kind of chasing down the raptor in kind of a battle of wits. It's pretty much that if it were a board game, and Nagaraja is kind of a tile placement, exploring a temple game. Really enjoyed both of them. Both great productions. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, you haven't played either of these, but
No.
I did play both of those in those game sessions, and I agree they're very solid. I do like the way that you can use the cards both ways. I always like multi-use cards, and I think in those games, I would say they do have a very similar feel in how it's like the way they're double used feels
yes.
very similar between those 2 games.
Yeah. And those are both new to the list.
Oh, Impact.
Okay. Now we're getting to 46. So in this, now I'm starting to get like you guys. This was a pretty significant drop.
Uh-oh.
This was number 11 last year.
My gosh, I don't think I had anything fall out of my top 10 like that.
Well, it was 11.
I do have all our lists written
Oh,
down here, so
sorry.
I can cheat.
It was 11, and
Jeez.
it was similar to what you said, I think, where it was on the 10 by 10. But I still really, really like this game.
But it
but
came
it's
down.
fallen quite a bit. And that is Orleans.
Oh.
Orleans. We did get the expansions for it, and we do use that board now, which gives it a little bit more, gives you a little bit more of a reason to go to that board, I felt like.
Yeah. It's definitely more helpful than the original.
Yeah, there's some things in the original that were helpful, but it just feels better to go to this one, I think, the new board.
I agree.
So I do really like that, and I still really like the game, but like you said, when you play it so many times in a row, it's like, okay, I need a little break from this game now, and I think that's why it's fallen so far. But it's still a very, very solid game, and I would definitely be willing to play it if anyone's like, I want to play some Orleans.
I didn't think this was a game that would cool for you. I thought that probably that would be one of your favorites for a good long while. Surprised.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know if that's all I can think of is I don't think it's dropped because of the type of game it is, or it's the fun you can have from it. I think it's just the fact that it was played a lot.
Yeah.
Just didn't fall only 10 spots, I guess, like Michaela's. It fell, what was that, 30-some spots?
Well,
Yeah.
it was on my list last year, and it's completely off this year.
Ooh.
So.
I'll top that. It has never been on my list.
And it's on there now. No, just kidding.
Oh, it jumped on the list.
Yeah.
No, that is Orleans.
All right. Well, 38 for me is one that we play a lot, or we did.
38?
Yeah, or 48, sorry. 46 is what we're on. It was number 38 last year.
Okay.
It ain't 38. It ain't 48. 46.
Those are my numbers. So, it's just one. The
Just
group-
one game?
Unlike my last pick.
Just one, though, the game, which I still really like. It's still a really great party game. I just kind of, shuffled it around. I feel like there might be some upcoming games that I'm starting to like maybe a little bit better, but this is still a really great, solid party game, and I would highly recommend this to any person. They could walk up to me on the street and ask for a party game, and this is the one I would choose. So.
Yeah, I can't. Was it the Spiel des Jahres, that one, or did it just get nominated? Ours doesn't have it. We got it before it had the.
Got it before it was cool.
Trendy.
Yeah, we got it before it was cool.
Not sure.
It probably just wasn't in Germany yet. Would be my guess, because sometimes they have games that are like 2-3 years old come on there, and it's like, well, that one's been out for a while. Usually it had been popular in like the U.S. or something, but that one deserves to be in Targets and Walmarts, and should be pushed to the front so that people know that not all the games are like
Check out
Monopoly
some of those
or
old ones.
Yeah, that's
Trouble
one
or
that
something.
we played with our grandparents. Just the entire family can play
All
the
you have to
game.
do is write a word. That's all you have to do.
Don't even have to spell it.
Great. I don't know if I have any party games on my list, but if I did have one, that would probably be the one.
Yeah, I remember last year I just kept saying this is my favorite party game, and I kept having another party game farther down the list. So I'm not going to make such claims. My 46 is one that I've only played once, non-solo. And the solo mode has some issues if I did play it correctly, or one issue, which is probably keeping it down here, and that is Project Elite. So this is a real-time game where you are running around a map, completing objectives, shooting aliens, rolling dice to determine, like the die has a symbol for shooting, for moving, for different objectives. And we've played this only once, and it was a great experience. And if we had played it more, I think it would climb the list. But solo, usually you have 4 dice in your character, normally. In solo, you control 2 characters, but you only have 5 dice. So I just find that very limiting, because you have to allocate a lot of dice for those objectives. And maybe I played it wrong and read the rules, and maybe you do get more dice, but I just wish that you did get more dice in the solo mode, which I think has kept this down, because I have not played it very much. But the one play that we did have, I have really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. It was, so, making my list, I'd use the Pub Meeple app, and I think and I did it twice, actually, because I somehow must have clicked something and didn't include all the games on it originally when I was doing it. And I think this one made it either made the list or it was like in the 60s or something, or 50s, 60s range. But yeah, I think mainly the reason it didn't make it was because we only had that one play of it. But I could see it with more plays possibly making the list.
Yeah.
Because it's a very, very fun game. It feels probably the second most like tower defense outside of maybe after the Empire.
Yeah.
For me. But I could see how some people would maybe even pick that one over after the Empire.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, then we will get to 45, which if you've waited this long, this is when we talk about the giveaway game. And that is King Domino.
Ooh.
So with this giveaway, we're definitely
one of our OGs.
It's one of our OG games, and we're willing to see whichever, either King Domino, Queen Domino, or King Domino Origins, whichever one the winner may not have, or if they.
You get to choose
you get
one
to
of those
choose.
3 games if you are the selected winner for our giveaway.
Yes, so to enter that, just
what are we doing?
Like the video and leave a comment below on which one of the games we talk about today is your favorite game.
Yes.
That'll get you an entry, and then maybe we'll see. We'll probably put out another video talking about the giveaway a little bit more, and our other 4 videos as well. If you leave comments on those, I'm sure you'll get
make
some
sure
more.
You're subscribed and hit that little notification bell so that you don't miss our videos, so you can enter multiple times. Plug, plug, plug.
plug. But yeah, the King Domino is one that actually was not on my list. I was kind of surprised because going back, I thought it made my list last year, so I don't know. It must have been like one of them that just barely missed out, so maybe just at the time wasn't feeling it. But it's not like it's overly thinky. It's a simple game. I think that one also should be able to charge.
Yes.
It's very beautiful. I really like the colors in it. I think that's the table presence is a part that gets me because it's just a bright yellow, bright green, bright blue, and then it's that tanny, swampy color in black. But those aren't quite as bright.
Dark green.
Those are the ones with the big crown points.
Yeah,
that makes up for it.
Yeah, you get those big crowns on there.
The yellow really pops
Get you
against
happy.
that black.
But yeah, it's a solid game. You probably hear about it a little bit more later on.
Yeah.
Either in this 10 or maybe a future 10s. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think some other people like this as well.
Spoilers. All right. Well, my number 45.
I'm sorry if it's one of your top game of all time. If I spoiled that.
You're spoiling my number 1. Our
gosh.
number 1 crossover here.
No. So my 45 I struggled with because in making these lists, you're comparing games that are hard to compare between, party games, different styles of games, cooperative, whatever. And then there's games that you fell in love with at one point and you played it and you were like, this is great, I love it so much, and then you kind of play it some more and some more and some more.
And you put it on a 10 by 10?
You put it on a 10 by 10, and by the end you're like, please, never again. But I think that it is...
Dinosaur Island's about to have a friend.
I think it is still a very good game. It's just, I think with higher player counts, it's just not great. And that is Explorers of the North Sea.
Ooh.
It was.
I was thinking.
Well,
I thought that was going to be.
Sorry, what was it last year?
It was 12. So.
Not nearly as big as my drop of Orleans.
It dropped a little bit. So, I don't know. I mean, it is still really fun. I like playing it at 2-player, but at a higher player count, just count me out. I don't want to play it. And, because it's so long, especially with the expansion, and then it just can be really aggravating. So.
We play it pretty nicely.
We do.
And
that's why they don't let me play it with them.
You never wanted to play that one.
I really like the game.
Yeah. Well,
I think he likes it the second most out of the 3 of us.
Well, that's not surprising. You don't like it at all.
But out of the three of us, I think I like Garfield games the most.
Oh.
So that does make it surprising.
That's
Probably.
weird.
True. Yeah, I don't know. It's still a great game. Obviously it's 40. It's in my top 50. So it still, I think, has merit.
Wow.
And everything. You know, you get your little Viking ships, and it's fun tile placement, and I still really enjoy it. It's just
Great
you
looking
know,
game.
Yeah, just kind of one of those things that maybe didn't stand up to the test of time and place.
I can't believe she said that.
But
Yes.
I would say for me that it's actually, the expansion made it better.
Yeah, I think the expansion did make it better,
But
but
it's definitely not a game I'd put on a 10 by 10 again ever.
No.
I would
I-
not recommend it
I
unless
thought
you
that was gonna
really
be-
love the game.
I thought it was gonna be so easy to get that one off. It was
Yeah.
the last one, and we were like playing.
We had 5 or 6
over
games of
and
it left in
over.
December.
It was rough.
I was looking forward to the expansion. Now I don't even know.
Oh, it's
The
good.
expansion's good. It
Yeah.
just adds a lot of tiles to the game and it
yeah.
belongs it.
Yeah, I played it solo a few times, and I liked it, but pretty much that's build the biggest island possible.
Now with some of the buildings, you can like deliver animals easier because you
Instead
can
of
put
going
it
all the way
output-
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was probably the biggest thing that
Yes, it
brought it down.
definitely needs that.
Yeah.
But that's only if you get wood, which is super frustrating if you don't get it.
Well, I'm glad we are not giving away my number 45 because this one's a lot more expensive than any of the King Dominoes. More expensive than all three
Dwellings.
together. This is Too Many Bones.
Ooh,
Chip Theory Games. Another one that actually we have played twice, but
it's true.
we only played it once, really, when we were in the zone. The first one was a tough play.
Mhm.
Very long, lots of rule checking. But the second play was way easier and way more fun. I just love the character customization in this.
Mhm.
And the ones that we've played have felt completely different from each other.
Mhm.
And the production is amazing. The neoprene mats with the dice that slot right into place. You can even pick the mat up and the dice will stay in there. The poker
I gotta
chips.
see this, Matt.
Oh my gosh, let's pull it down.
It's a big game. It does not fit in the Calyx cube.
No, it does not. We had to set
It's
it
on
up top.
top.
But yeah, I really love it, and it still takes a long time to play, so that's
Mhm.
probably why we haven't played it very much at all since then,
Mhm.
and that's probably why it's so low.
Yeah, I would say it did not make my list, but I really, really loved the plays we did have of it. But yeah, it's one that it's just a long game and it's hard
Yes.
to get to the table. But now the worst part is we haven't played in so long that we're going to be
Yeah.
doing what we did the first game with the rules, because it wouldn't be so bad about it being long if there wasn't also. I felt like
Yeah.
until you play it quite a
Yeah.
few times, the rules are
Not only do you have to get the
Pretty
game rules, you have to
complex.
get the character rules, because they
Mhm.
are so unique.
yes, because it's
Is it
kind
more
of
than
like
2 players?
you can play like I think up to 4.
Think
I know there's expansions that add more too, so I don't know if it goes higher than that, but I don't know that you'd want to. I guess
Yeah.
I don't remember if that would extend it or not. I don't
I'm
remember
not sure.
exactly how it worked, but yeah, that's a very fun game, and I've been very tempted because they've had a Kickstarter since, and or a GameFound I think is what they did, and they have all these other characters, and I'm like, nope, need to play it some more first. I know I really like it, but yeah, it just is. I want to get those base characters down first.
Gotta put it on a 10 by 10. Get
You
used
gotta put that on a 10 by
Oof,
10,
yeah.
like I did with Root. But now we'll get into our 44. Um,
No comment.
This was a number 40 for me last year, so it stayed about the same.
Consistent.
And this one has cards mainly. It has a somewhat
Ooh.
meh board and chips that do not match the board or anything else in the game, and that is Ethnos. This one I think could be on some other lists as well later on. I really like Ethnos. It's another one of the simple ones, kind of like King Domino, where you're just collecting sets or bands of either all the same type of monster or all the same color of different monsters. I just really like how that works, and then the little bit of press your luck towards the end of each round, because there's 3 dragon cards. Once you hit that third one, then the round's over. It does nothing else happens. I really like that in this game. I think that end round or end game trigger is really cool in that one.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Downfall of Pompeii, where it ends the first half of the game into the other portion. I really like how those work in those games. But yeah, we'll probably talk about this one a little more later on. I just wish it had maybe a reprint at some point, but I don't know.
Sadly, I assume only one of us is going to be talking about it later on.
Wow.
This was my 23 last year, but Ethnos did drop off my list.
Wow.
Wow!
I was just putting the list
I
together.
thought you liked this one better.
I do like
That
it
is
a lot,
some sass.
but I can't win it. I can't win it. It's impossible. Not to spoil our playthrough that we have of it. You can go check out, but I was not victorious.
So even with that play, so it's not like you didn't get any plays of it. It still dropped off. To number 51.
Well, my 44 dropped 20 spots.
She's looking, she's like, oh shoot, I forgot Ethnos.
No.
So she had to drop this one. Put Ethnos in its spot.
I struggle with this one because I think it is a really solid game, and I think I like playing it. It's just hard to tell because I always lose it. And so it's a struggle for me, but it is a solid game. It is, something good to bring to the table, and that is Wingspan. And he, thinks that, I don't like it, but I just
I
don't.
thought it already dropped so much. How did it drop 20 more spots?
I just don't like losing it, and
Oh.
it's hard to lose it time after time after time.
He's tucking 250 cards.
He beat me so bad
One
last
time.
summer. I was like, I don't think we played since.
I don't know if we have. It's
You
been
got-
a long
you
time,
got
and I'm
those
just like,
upgraded bits. You
I've-
got those neoprene mats.
I know, and I'm just so sad because I'm like, just want to play Wingspan so badly.
The other half
You'll
of
have
it,
to hang on and see when it's on my list.
the
It
other half
probably
of
won't be
it
in this
is-
video
our
or the next
collection
one.
is
Or the
so
next one.
big. Ah,
I will say it may have made a bit of a resurgence for me.
Oh, boy.
So look forward to that.
all right, Kaka, your turn.
I actually had made a bold prediction, so that's wrong apparently.
Did you think it
But
was
my bold
going
prediction was it wasn't going to be on either of your guys' lists.
Wow. Some respect.
off?
to that.
Interesting.
My number 44 also dropped 20 spots. And that
Whoa.
is, which is weird, I thought we crossed over on the number on Wingspan.
I have it as 24 last year, unless
24.
I mixed it
Who
up.
knows? We'll see. But this is Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh,
Another one that dropped. We haven't played it
Mhm.
in so long, but just the memories of it are great. It's
Mhm.
so fun. We still have to play the expansion, although I don't think it needs it. I don't have
Right.
any memories of the expansion, and I still love it. Just so fun, and we have the original, or I don't know if it's original, but the Arcane Wonders version, the
Mhm. I
original
think
one
so.
with the brown box, and I really love the look of that game, and kind of trying to mislead the sheriff, get him to possibly open your bag when you do have 5 chickens in there, or possibly sneak by with a crossbow. It's just so fun, and the snap of the bag, even the one that broke, I don't
Mhm.
know who did that. An aggressive sheriff.
I'm not sure. They just
Like,
wear
you
it.
lie! But yeah, I still really, really love the game.
That one gets nostalgia points from me, but I don't think it was on my list last year, and it's not on my list again this year. But
Yeah, that one didn't make my list either. But
It
it
is
has
as
been
well.
one that I've thought about and wanted to play. But the worst part is I feel like probably need at least 4 players, maybe 5, to play it to really get a little bit more of an experience out of it. But I definitely look forward to playing that as we go through the rest of our games from A to Z.
ooh. All right, number 43.
43. Oh boy, another new one to my list. And this one was helped by the alphabet soup that we're doing because it was an A game. Well, I guess you could claim it was a T game because it has the in front of it. Although I don't ever call it the.
The Amon-Ra.
The Architects.
Ancient World.
Oh.
From Red Raven Games. It's one that has really grown on me. Every time I play it, it just kind of gets better and better. I really like the set collection of the monster cards that you kill with the different colored banners. I think that's just really unique, and I love the artwork. Ryan Lockett always does really amazing artwork in all the games that he does.
Very pretty game.
So yeah, that really helps it. Because I know originally I was like, I feel like I sort of like this game, but I'm not sure. But yeah, just with more plays, it's like, okay, I think there was just something about it in the first few times I played it that it was just like, it seemed like it was hard to approach, but with more plays, it's become more accessible.
Yeah, I did not like my first play of it, but I think it does get better.
But yeah, Ancient World,
Wonder
it's
what's
worker
gonna be the
placement.
highest Ryan Lockett game on your list.
I don't know.
There's a couple others you've played.
I don't know what else he's made. Oh, wait, I do know one other one, so we'll see. All right, well, this one dropped 23 for me. Went from 20 to 43, so I'm going to disappoint Zach, but it is Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Just Zach, you're gonna disappoint?
And Jesse, apparently. I didn't know you were a huge fan.
This is one we haven't played since last summer either.
I know. And I like it. I think
Play
the
the
expansions
Quacks.
help. I
Like we did
just
last
am just kind of, yeah. I don't know. It's a great game. The picking out of the bag is so much fun. Buying the different things is so much fun. I think the expansions are very interesting or whatever. So really just a great game. I've discovered they're just other games that I like more. And that's really all it came down to, was it's not a bad game. I just have other games I like more.
Cubitos, #1 for Mac.
Cubitos is not on my list, nor was it close.
Wow!
Cubitos is cute.
I'm kind of shocked at what your picks are so far, because when I was going through the games, I thought there was about 30 that you'd like, and you've already named some of them, so
I do like them. They're in my top 50.
I thought there were going to be the first 20 you didn't really like, so
Wow.
I'm going to be shocked by some of these, I
I
think.
can't believe. My number.
That's a good pick on a top 50 list, but it's very low.
And maybe it'll go back up. It fluctuates so much. And like I said, you're comparing
I give
games.
you a hard time.
You're comparing games that do not compare well, and so
That is true.
it's very in your head.
My number 43. It's Quacks of. No, it is not. would
I would
never.
feel so bad.
My 43 is Frenzy. This dropped 13 spots. I did not get to play it. You have been through it in the Alphabet Soup, I believe.
Yep.
You get to play it in that.
He made me learn it.
I wonder if that'll show up on your list. But I really like it. I love the kind of gimmick, but it works. Kind of building your tower of pieces. I believe they're similar to the pieces in Carcassonne, the tower. I think that has similar pieces. But yeah, you're building your towers and kind of cashing those in to claim spots and points on the board. And there's also a row of cards that kind of slides down, and newly revealed ones are farther away. And you can pay those tower pieces as well as kind of a currency to skip cards and claim some farther down, which I thought was a good balance of which ones do I want to use to build, which ones do I want to use to get better cards. Really love the game. Wish I played it more.
Yeah, I really like the game as well. I think that one did not make my list, but it was probably in the 50 through 60 again. It's definitely right there for me, even with the additional play. But I know, well, I don't know. I'm pretty confident someone didn't like it as much,
Little take
and I think that
in
probably
there.
hurts. There's some take that in there.
I
You
thought
can
it
see
was-
it coming usually.
I thought it was fine. I probably would say I like it better than Century, but it's not a game that's in my wheelhouse, I guess you would say, which is why it, probably isn't like a smash hit with me. But I will say it was a good game. I'd be okay playing it again. And for me, that's a win. You don't know what it's like to game with me.
It is a solid, under-talked about game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't see many people talk about it.
Poor Ferenzi.
My gosh, that should have been the giveaway game.
Should have been. And then
King Domino Origins, Queen Domino, or Forensic.
Wow.
What a selection.
What
I
a
think you could
selection.
talk him into it if you want Ferenzi.
Maybe. But yeah, we're getting to number
Look,
42.
$200 on eBay.
Right. I don't even know if it's in print.
We're gonna need a lot more subscribers.
If we get to 200 subs, we'll put Forenzi in there as an option.
Love it.
But yes, so
What are we at?
number 42
All right.
is another game that was not on my list last year. So apparently it cleaned house in my 41 through
How
50.
many of these games are new? In this 10, that's been like...
I told you
6, 7
overall
of
it's
them.
like 20 some games that are new in my list total.
I thought I would have more new to the list, but
It's not seeming like it so far. But this one is one that was probably close. Didn't play it as much, I think, going into the time we made the list last time. And that is Dominion. This one is just
I
cards.
thought that was a 3-way crossover last time.
Yeah, that seems like another one. Kind of like King Domino that I thought I had last time, but I didn't.
Although I think
didn't
Mac
see
and
it.
I think Mac and I crossed over on the number last
That
time
could
for
be.
that. So it
Um,
felt special.
But yeah, that's one that's just with more plays. It's just so clean, so solid. It just shows why, after all the years that it's been out there, all the
This is
expansions.
42?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was each of our 42 last year.
Yes, I
Wow.
look at that.
You two?
Crossover
Yeah.
through time.
It was mine.
I did not know that, but yeah.
Multiverse.
Even with all the expansions, all the time that's passed, I can see why people still talk about it, and it's still one of some people's like favorite deck building game because it's just so clean, it's so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else you can say about it, but I guess I'll hear what you have to say about it later on.
Unless his completely dropped off.
Okay, could.
All right. Well, my number 42 is a crossover, not a number, but in the 10 that we're doing.
Finally a crossover.
Seven Wonders Duel. Wow.
How is this not higher on your list, Mac?
How is this
Higher?
not number 7?
What is on yours?
Well, it's fresher to you. It should be
Oh.
hotter.
You know what? I actually don't think we played this game since June of last year.
Probably.
But it's so good. I really enjoy it. It's really different two-player game. We've already kind of touched on it, so we don't really need to go into it. But it just is a refreshing two-player game, I think, because we tend to play a lot of two-player games and games as two players. But you know, it's just great. I really like it.
Another Bruno Catala. Wow.
I must be a Bruno girl. I don't know what games he makes or what I play.
5 Tribes, we're playing it!
Oh, sorry, Bruno. No thanks, but
No talk about Bruno playing 5 Tribes.
we don't talk about 5 tribes.
Wow. Oh, we just got both the expansions, so you're gonna talk about
We're
it.
going to be talking about 5
We
Tribes.
might have a series.
5 Tribes, 5 Tribes.
5 Tribes talk. Doesn't roll off the tongue like tap talk.
The 6th tribe.
My 42 dropped 22 spaces.
Oh man.
That is a flip and right game, Silver and Gold.
When you said flip and right game, I was thinking silver and gold.
Yes. Still great. I believe it's Phil Walker Harding. He makes really clean games, I think. And this is not going to be the last time you hear his name on my list. Not this 10, but in my list overall. So yeah,
Okay.
this one you're trying to fill out cards. I don't know if they're islands thematically, what they are, but
Yeah.
fill out cards with polyomino shapes, which will score you points in various different ways. It's just a very, very clean, and you get to draw on the cards with dry erase markers, which is very satisfying. Just one of my go-to filler games.
It's really good, and I struggled with this one because it was 32 for me last year, but I took it off my list this year.
Wow. That would have been another one that I thought was on your list. Wow, I don't know.
It's really
shocking.
good, but there just are some other games and filler games that I thought were more worthy of the spots. So, kind of how it shook out.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite
Because to
bourbon
be fair,
right games.
we have a lot
but I
of
don't. Yeah,
these
we have a
styles.
lot of them, and I don't think I put too many on my list. So I think that was part of the reason why. I usually like a little bit heavier, but it's a very solid filler bourbon right game.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. Is that good?
Yep.
You good?
So last one, huh?
Oh, last one of this 10. This was on my list last year
That's 41.
as number 33.
Oh.
And this was one that was not, when I first went through on Pub Meeple, was not included. And when I saw it, I'm like, I know that was on my list last year. And that is Lords of Waterdeep. So this is one we do not own. Another one of your brother's games. And it's just... an awesome worker placement game, a very classic feeling worker placement game where you're just putting out workers, getting people to help. Very similar to just getting like resources to fulfill a contract. It's very much like a lot of worker placement games, but that's just something that I really like. If you watch our Dino videos, especially our Triceratops review, you'll see that I may like Dinogenics the most because it has a worker placement feeling, like old school feel to it, and Lords of Waterdeep has that. And one of the things that makes this one stick out, I think, is the fact that you can add those new buildings, new locations, kind of throughout the game, and you'll eventually get an extra worker, and you hopefully have those extra spaces built out by then, so that you can have additional actions that you can take. And I think since the last time we did this list, he's gotten the expansion. What is that called? Skullduggery something. Don't remember exactly what it's called, but I really liked what that added to the game as well. It added a few more spots, but then it also added some, I don't remember what it was called, some bad stuff that you did not want. And I think in the game, or I think we've played it twice with that. And I know the first time we played it, I usually like to test those things out, and I think I ended up with a lot of the bad stuff. And it shot me. I don't know if I was even ahead to begin before we subtracted points off, and so I fell way back. But I really liked what it added to the game.
Yeah. This is my 49 last year, and I took it off this year. Still a good game.
And it's never been on his list. It never will be.
Only played it once.
He's too cool for school.
Wow, I thought you played a couple times.
Yeah. And then I don't remember what it was, but they gave me something so that I had to go on a mission and do something.
A forced quest?
Mandatory quest.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, that's not very fun. But I'm sure if I explored the game more, there would be a lot more that I like.
Yeah, I think those usually aren't too bad as long as they're not like given to you sometimes right away. It's just usually I think they're a little bit better when you kind of can tell someone's way ahead, and then you can kind of give them to those people.
Yeah, slow them down a little.
Kind of when it's all even, it kind of does seem like a slap a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 41 for me is new to the list this year. Man, I like it, but I've never played it at more than that 2 players. But it's fun, it's engaging, it's thought-provoking, it's crunchy. Which is the opposite of my usual vibe. I haven't quite figured it out, but it's still a challenge, and that's why it's here where it is. And that is another Garfield game. Circadians of the First Light.
Circadian's First Light, I believe.
That's the one. I just call it Circadians and forget the details. So
I think that's fair, calling it Circadians.
So, yeah, just kind of a spacey alien another dice game, but, yeah, I just really like it. It's fun.
It is a very fun game. It's one where you kind of have your dice hidden as to how you're going to place them, so you don't actually get to pick the actions necessarily that you want.
Yeah.
But you can kind of have a plan,
but there are
but there's a
options.
chance that someone could take it, so it's very unique. I don't know if I've seen anything quite like that before, where it's kind of the hidden.
I forget.
You have to set yourself in place before.
What actions out there that you're going to go to? You set them in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, then, you have to deploy them in a certain order, and so depending on.
Like I'm going to deploy this one first, and then like the actions themselves require certain specific die numbers and stuff. So, like this one might. I think there's one where it's like you need 2 of the same number too. So. It could suck if you had like your 2 4s back to back, and then if you were the second player or something, the first person took that one, then you have to figure out, well, what am I going to do with these 4s? So I really love the game too. I think I'm going to keep saying this. This is probably I don't think it made my list, but it was right there. I was disappointed when it wasn't on there because it is so unique, but I was hoping you would talk about it because it is a great game. A great game.
Yeah.
And there's I think it's a standalone second game in kind of that world that I'm interested in. I did not back. I think it's going to deliver here within the next few months. We'll see if we eventually get it, but I feel like that one might be one that plays better at a higher player counts. So I was going to see first kind of what people thought of the 2-player version of it.
Yeah. Well, to round it out, let's go with a classic that has only dropped 3
Crossover?
spots. It is not a crossover. It's dropped 3 spots, so it's pretty consistent. And that is Ticket to Ride. Or Ticket to Ride Europe, any version, except some of the terrible ones, which I can't remember which ones are bad and which ones aren't. I hear Africa is pretty difficult and possibly take that.
It sounds like I think so.
Yeah, but yeah, I've only played Europe and the original on the app, and I've played it mostly on the app lately, so I guess right now I'm playing the original map. But
America?
America. But yeah, I still really, really enjoy this game, and just collecting all those cards and then building your route and getting all those destinations fulfilled, and possibly drawing some more in the late game, hoping you already have them fulfilled or can, and then
So
being
tricky.
very sad when there's no chance to connect any of them.
When it's like a 20-point card.
Yes.
All right. Guess we just won't take that one.
But yeah, really love it, and great production as well for the physical copy that we have. And I guess we have the Ticket to Ride London is a smaller one, so that's a great 20-minute version of it.
Yeah, I agree. It's no surprise that overall its products, I don't know if it's just the one game, but it's sold over like millions and millions of copies, or was it 10 million or something? I don't know what it was, but it's no surprise at all that it sold that well, because it's just a fantastic game that most people, I think, can play.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone, but it's very approachable, especially
for sure,
because it's got all those different versions, especially now with like the London and the New York ones. Those are even more approachable. So yeah, it's the whole Ticket to Ride series is great. A great collection of games. But yeah, that's the first 10 of our top 50 games of all time. Let us know below. Like I said, leave a comment on which one of those games was your favorite, or maybe if you've got your 50 through 41, you can list those below as well.
Yeah, I would love to see what you guys have.
Yeah, see if we've got any crossovers in our higher numbers, maybe, if you don't cross over with us currently. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next 4 videos. But otherwise, we will see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content.